All right, Cancer, the underlying here is the Ten of Cups. Hey, you are coming into this with death. They are showing the Three of Wands. Where you meet in terms of the relationship, you are showing the Four of Cups. They are showing the Ten of Pentacles. What that means later, you have the World and they are showing the Chariot, and then coming out you have the Page of Pentacles, the Sun, and then the Knight of Wands. This looks really good, Cancer. All right, so first of all, with the Ten of Cups, for some of you, I could be talking to the Cancers here who are in a really good relationship. Some of you may be married. Some of you may be with, the person that you have children with. Like, I just see this happy family situation, but I see where there have been problems. But you're like rebuilding your life with this person almost. So death. At some point in the past, you may have thought that this relationship was going to be over with, right? I look at death and I think we can't go back to the way things were. Things are definitely over with in that regard, but it's changing though, right? Death and rebirth here. But with the Three of Wands, it may be because the person that you are looking at here was looking at maybe other options for them. They may not have known what they wanted in the future. They may have decided to just sit and kind of wait to see how things were going to go for them before they wanted to get involved with you. It just depends, because I look at the Three of Wands and I think the initial steps were taken toward this relationship on their part, okay? But there was some kind of expectation or something that they were waiting for that may have caused you to feel like, okay, well, this is over with. But death showing up is saying that maybe it's changing now. Now, you moving into the Four of Cups, clearly there's going to be a part of you emotionally that is going to kind of be numb to the idea that this person is now wanting to, make sure that things are secure and stable and long lasting with you. Because I think that, whatever they were waiting for, because of the way that you come out on this and your overall, I don't think that it shows up in a way that makes them feel the kind of security and stability that, they want to have with you. Now, they may have been waiting on you, though, to get over, what changes you may have been through that put you in a place of being like emotionally just blah. I don't necessarily feel like you've lost interest in this person. But, the Four of Cups, right? There's a part of you emotionally that's been lost because of what has happened in the past. That caused this death moment, where things are never going to be how they used to be. But that doesn't mean that it can't change into something better, because this would indicate otherwise, And then you move into the World, where you feel like, okay, that chapter is over with now, but we're talking about, you feeling successful in terms of the relationship, right? So that half of your life and your life with this person is over with, and them showing the Chariot, especially with that being you, I think that they almost look at you as like you're back on track now. But we're also talking about, the relationship getting back on track, right? A sense of direction. But they are definitely wanting to pick up the pace and get the momentum going as soon as you express this, okay, that the past is over and it's done with. And I'm okay, I've made my peace. Let's go ahead and see where things go, right? And then you have the Page of Pentacles where we're starting over. The Sun in the middle, and with the Ten of Cups, that's beautiful. It's perfect, right? It is new life being breathed back into the relationship. That is a happy situation, or otherwise should have stayed a happy situation. But whatever is going on in the past here, clearly it's caused some problems, but this person feels like, the security and stability that they're wanting in the long term lies within you, but you may not be receptive to it at the moment. And like I said, that could be because of, the action that they either have taken or didn't take in the past. Or it could be, what is going on with you emotionally because of things that have changed in such a way that you feel that the relationship can't go back to what it was. Now, going to the Knight of Wands, the person that you're dealing with, man, they're ready to go. They are ready to go. You're talking about passion, excitement, drive, wanting to take action here. I don't see this as a bad thing, not with the Sun being there. This actually looks really good, Cancer. But this is going to be for those of you who maybe like I think reconciling with somebody that, you know, all intentions were to have a long-term relationship, but something may have happened in the past, but you're working past it now. And the emotional issues that may be there that caused you to become like detached. You know, so I almost feel like some of you, it's like you had to force yourself to detach your emotions from this person in the relationship. But, you know, the way that you come out here is great. And the Four of Wands, I'm telling you, Cancer. This is going to be for those of you who are really looking to rebuild a really good relationship here. Now, looking at the King of Swords with the Three of Pentacles, let me just say that it would make sense to me that this would be you in this situation, considering where you're coming from, okay? Whether you're male or female. I don't think that this is about the other person being emotionally detached. I think that this is about the conversation that is happening here. And you trying to come from a place of, okay, let's be realistic and practical here about what is, you know, going to happen if we start working on this. You have to follow this through. And I don't think that that's a problem for them, but I think that there's at least some excitement here. And I don't think that this is one of those situations where it just kind of like burns out. Like, I see this as, you know, they feel good. They feel good about this. The passion's returned. You know, we're often moving. We're getting swept up in it. But you're coming from a place of, if we're rebuilding, we have to work together. And I think that that's kind of where the conversation is going. And then after that, you have the Queen of Cups. Now, if that's what you're internalizing, this is going to be the emotional attachment that, yeah, you definitely have. And that's what's propelling you, so to speak, to want to rebuild this. And with the Two of Wands, right, we're looking at, okay, so if we're working together, let's start talking about what we're going to do, right? And that could literally be, well, who's moving in with who, right? Where are we going to live? Things like that. You know, but I see this as somebody who is being, first of all, emotionally understanding in terms of what you've experienced. But there's also, you know, the emotional connection and investment, right? But it looks good. And this looks like you are really considering, you know, where this could actually go. And with the Knight of Wands, yeah, and the other person's fully on board. Now, with the Four of Wands and the Six of Cups, again, the Four of Wands here is going to be, you know, you building your life with this person, getting, you know, the stability here, accomplishing something within the relationship, right? Celebrating the connection for sure, especially with the Sun being there. And with the Six of Cups, I think that there are things from the past that need to be addressed, yes. But we could literally be talking about somebody that is walking away from the issues of the past, and it's no longer going to be an issue. But I also look at this as they're remembering how good the connection felt and how good it felt to, you know, build this relationship. You just hit like a hiccup in the road, but it was big enough for you that it was a major event with death. And I really think that at some point you thought that this could never be what it was. But it's actually changing in a way that is better for you than where it initially started. Wow, man. That is really good, Cancer. And I mean really, really good. Thank you. That was the best reading I've seen in terms of that. And, you know, there's always the details and the complications that happen. But I think that you're being really straightforward on how you're looking at it. But the other person is doing the same, you know. But I see them being like really excited about how things are going in the right direction. Now with the Chariot though, like I said, that with the Four of Wands too, and looking at the Page of Pentacles, that could literally be, are we moving over here? Are we buying a new house? Are we, you know, living together? Who's moving in with who, right? And if it's been like a long distance relationship, then definitely the connection's being made again. All right, so I kind of look at this as, with the King of Pentacles, first of all, you're talking about somebody who's being a little bit too pushy, a little bit too dominant. Now, with the Queen of Swords, I almost feel like this is you in this situation, but even though the relationship is difficult and you may have been hurt by this person because they're, you know, a little bit too overbearing, there's still very much like this want here with the Nine of Cups, right? And you get swept up in the passion of this person. But that may be where the codependency is starting to come through. It's such a difficult relationship, because I'm looking at how the two of you are coming in from the past. So like I said, you have somebody who's being, too much, and somebody here is focusing on the fact that this person has hurt them in some way. And then you move into this place of, but there's all these emotions attached to this. And with the Knight of Wands getting swept up in the passion. And then you move into this place of the Eight of Wands where we're just enjoying the moment, not really taking the relationship anywhere. But there are things that are being kept with the High Priestess, right? Now, is it a secretive relationship? Possibly. But I'm wondering what's being kept here. But this is going to have to do with those of you who are just constantly dependent on this person. It's like you just can't let go of it. I think that that's what that is. It's like you see yourself as single because does the relationship really go anywhere? Or are you just like enjoying each other? But, what is being kept, right? And then the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. All right. So let's talk about, first of all, with the Eight of Swords, you're talking about somebody who is not comfortable, and you may not have been comfortable because somebody was trying to push themselves on you, but they may have hurt you in a way where you can't just easily let it go. That's kind of how I see that. It's a difficult relationship. But the thing is that there's this emotional, I think, codependency. But what's interesting here is the Two of Pentacles. This is about somebody who is hesitant about approaching another person. But that could be on an emotional level in what you're wanting or what you're needing. Because, with the Knight of Wands, we're just kind of getting swept up in the passion. And going back to the High Priestess, if we're talking about something that's being kept, is that you want more. You want more than, let's just enjoy each other. I want to have a relationship here. Either you or the other person here, you need to have this on an emotional level. But when it comes to talking about anything other than the initial passion or physical contact, like if you're just having sex with this person, there is no way to approach the subject of, I want something realistic, I want something more. So rather than being open and honest about that, somebody is keeping that and they're just kind of like, I'm just going to enjoy the time that I have. Because they don't know how to approach it. But the thing is there is some pain that's coming into this, because some of you may be uncomfortable with the fact that is all that it is, it's just this physical connection, but there is clearly a want to have more, right? But you can't approach it. So instead of doing that, you just kind of like keep it to yourself. But there's definitely the dependency that, that we need to have this. We need to have this contact, or somebody does. All right, so before I clarify anything else, the Three of Cups is going to be about mending a broken heart. But this is a good thing, right? Mending some issues, there's more of an attempt to, bring the emotions back into the relationships. It's good. It's good. But the Five of Wands is talking about somebody who is peeking in on another person. And this could literally be somebody who is needing to take an outsider's perspective almost on how they have been failing. Because the Seven of Pentacles is talking about somebody who's becoming lazy. They're not putting in enough effort into the relationship. But I think that, there is an attempt to fix it here, because with the Ace of Cups, you're talking about a new beginning in your relationship that is good, emotionally fulfilling. It's beautiful. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune. They're taking advantage of this opportunity, or you are. And things are changing in a good way here. And then you have the King of Wands with strength. This is somebody who is trying to find the inner strength to continue to be a loving and compassionate person, but also, bringing the passion into the relationship, whether you're dealing with fire, male, female, doesn't matter. But somebody at some point was, getting lazy. They weren't. And then the Nine of Wands, yeah, they're trying to fix it. Okay, so, and it may be that, they're being too pushy in ways that are not helping things to heal, right? Because that is the intention coming through, but they get lazy and then they're being pushy about other things. And you're like, look, I love you, but you need to back off because we need to have a reconnection here or a restart, And with the Wheel, yeah, things are changing in a better way, but they're definitely trying to come in and fix some things with the Nine of Wands, right? And they're trying to find the strength to do what I think that they feel they need to fix this issue. Because nothing here is indicating cheating. Nothing here is indicating that somebody unexpected is coming through. I think it's about the return of how someone was in the past. But definitely reconciling some issues here. And somebody wanting to fix things before it's too late, right? But finding the strength to do that rather than trying to force issues. You know, but I don't see the Eight of Cups really as a bad thing. I just think that you're dealing with a partner who got a little bit lazy. That or that's you. But it's not bad, Cancer. Actually, this was pretty good. Other than singles, I worry about, you know, who it is that you're attached to. But